So this is the fourth week of a 7-week series, and today is practicing self-love. And very often we acknowledge that some of the things that we talk about have been so claimed by mainstream journalism, television, the magazine, like all forms of journalism, that we begin to overlook the importance, the depth, and the necessity for certain things. And you talk about self-love now, people go, yeah, I gotta love myself more. Yeah, I know. It almost gets dismissed. And I'm sorry that's happening, because it shouldn't be watered down. Self-love, practicing self-love, is really the only answer to what happened in Paris. And I don't know if you get that. See, in Science of Mind, we teach there's only one. Just one. The omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient one. And we get all that from beautiful Emma Curtis Hopkins. And this one doesn't mean I'm one with, we're of the same human family. It's not just that. So you'll only grab this to the level that you can grab it right now. And as you stay practicing metaphysics, you'll grab it even more. But there's one. And everything that happens and everything that shows up and everything that's created and everything that's recreated is a morphing and a recreating of the one. So the image we use all the time is the ocean. And that the ocean is the totality of all that is, and the wave is the individuated aspects, that us as individuated selves. But then someone said something a couple of years ago. One of you in my class is one of my students. I don't remember who you are. You said, well, no, it's more like a drop. Because for the moment it feels separate. I'm like, you're right. Because in that moment of us being born into this physical body, it feels temporarily like we are on our own journey. And for the moments of that separation, that's when the time of doubt and fear comes in, and a little confusion. And then all of a sudden we become part of the wave again, and then part of the ocean. But for that time, for that moment when we are the drop, or even when we're the wave, we have to remind ourselves that we are one with this one. Now, I tend to beat the drum a little bit that there is nothing else outside of the one, and there's nothing outside of loving oneself, because when I'm loving me, I'm loving you. And that sounds a little we could overlook that. Because you might be thinking to yourself right now, well, I have a lot of pain. I have a lot of discord in my life. You might be thinking that you have something that's not with what I have. Isn't it precious? So you might be thinking, well, you don't know what's in my life. Trust me, I know more than you think. We all know more than we think, especially those of us who are in this practice, because those of us who are really in this practice are making room for understanding ourselves enough to know all the aspects of our being. It's like you've all heard about shadow work, right? Everybody hear about shadow work? Anybody not know about shadow work? Okay, so shadow work I'll explain it then. Shadow work it started with Carl Jung, and it was Deborah Ford who really brought it to publishing, and then made it popular amongst the New Thought community. So shadow work is when we look at the aspects of ourselves that we have unwittingly denied and projected. So what happens, it shows up as that cousin that irks the living daylights out of you. It shows up as the boss that you think is a lying, conniving so-and-so. It shows up as the ex who you think is a cheat and no good. And it shows up as all these things. And if we do not stay really present, we could be fooled. And then what happens is we start fixing our world out here because we think it's out there. But the shadow shows up because I have denied something about myself, something I didn't like. And I've asked you to carry it in the door to me. Now, it doesn't normally show up that pretty. It normally shows up like, you son of a... That's how it normally shows up. It normally shows up through criticism and upset. But the truth is, everyone in your life that's carrying that gift is a gift. It's a gift. And the sooner you and I stop critiquing that person, the sooner you and I stop finding fault, the sooner we will love the whole essence of our being. And then I become full, and then I greet you from my fullness to your fullness. Are you with me? So the shadow work is not something to fear or to run away from. And it's not even something wrong or evil. It just is the parts of us that we have to reincorporate and fall in love with again. Is there anyone here that I have not met? Anyone here for the first time today? Okay. May I approach? Thank you. I wanted to ask your permission. Okay. What is your name? Gloria. So you can relax your arm. I won't come any closer, I promise. Okay. So as I see you, because of who I am now, I can see the beauty of you and the soul of you, the struggle that you've had, the love that you are. And I can see that now because of all the work that I've done. And what I know is that if you look at me long enough, you can see me too. Can't you? We can connect, can't we? Thank you. When you do your work, you get so present, there becomes less and less things between you and everyone else. You just touch that place of love. It's a constant namaste practice. It's a constant practice of the divine within me recognizes the divine within you, Steve. And if you can stay present to me long enough, relax your arm. Relax. I'll hold it. Yeah, there you go. And if you can look in my eyes just a little bit longer than normal, there's a place within you that can connect with a place within me that's not normally connecting, can it? Thank you. And that's what we do when we practice the science of mind. That's what we do when we practice the self-forgiveness. That's what we do when we practice all of these practices, because all the practices come together in that place of self-love. Anything right now, and this is very important because it shows up in different ways, anything that in your life that doesn't look exactly lovely, okay? There is a thought or a belief associated with it. Now, this is where it starts to get a little mechanical and not very sexy, you know. But that's where it goes to. So it is absolutely critical that you and I never get confused with what's happening with something that's happening to us. It's happening for us. It's happening through us. Are you with me? It's so important. So someone said to me, and you might have seen this if you were on my Facebook page or on the Center's Facebook page, someone said, well, how can we practice gratitude in the middle of what's going on? They were referring to Paris. Well, you can practice it, and I can practice gratitude because we know that there's not a word of truth in what is happening. Now, you might say, how could it not be? This all happened. People died. But it's not truth. There is a way that we can turn away from the light, and that's when we deny ourselves. And in denying ourselves and turning away, we have these other experiences, but they're just humans being unskilled. There is not an evil separate from us. I want you to know that. If you haven't opened the Science of Mind textbook in a while, or if you've never read it, you must know that we do not believe in evil as an entity. Evil is delivered by humans. So we heal us, so we become not part of the problem. You with me? Would you like to never see anything like happened in Paris or Charleston or Columbine or Boston or any of the other Baltimore where things have happened again? Then you and I must stand in the truth, knowing that we are one with this one, and we must love ourselves enough that we simply cease judging and offending and finding fault and objecting to anyone, so that then that person can do that. Are you with me? Because there is a place that when I love myself that much, then I can love you that much. And then you can love you that much, so you can start loving me. You understand? Ricky Byers sings this song on a regular basis, even though she doesn't know where it came from. So our choir is sitting amongst you, and I want you to join them in the words of this song. And I want you to sing it, no matter how badly you think you sing.
I love myself so much that I can love you so much, and you can love you so much, and you can start loving me.
Come on, folks, find your voice.
I love myself so much
Stand up.
that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me.
Find someone. Look at somebody.
I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. I love
Look at someone else.
So much.
Come on, find someone you don't know.
That I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, and you can start loving me.
Again.
I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, and you can start loving me. One more time. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me.
Give yourself a round of
Amen.
applause. I know there's some holdouts out there. I know some of you don't want to get out of your seats. I know, but most of you did. How do you feel? How's the energy in the room? It's different, right? Celebration is a way of raising our own vibration, and we raise our vibration. When we show into a room full, we raise a vibration. So Thanksgiving's coming. I'm going to charge you with a job. You ready? You ready to take on a task, Chris? Okay. There's no one in your family outside of your influence. There is no one in your family that is outside of your influence, even if they think they are. So what happens is, I'm going to go a little bit more into the mechanics again. We function in the world, most of the times we're functioning in the world of the conscious mind. And according to science of mind and other metaphysical teachings, we have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind, okay? So within that subconscious mind, when it gets deep and it gets wide, and that's where you and I dance together. In the subconscious mind, in the subjective side of who we are, that's where we connect with all of what is. That's where we connect with all of our resources. And whatever word you want to call it, that's where we connect with God. For me, it is God. Use whatever word you want. So when I cease to object to what is, and I go deep, and I cease to object to a family member, and I cease finding fault, I can then, in that place of the collective unconscious, affect how they see themselves. So we probably each have one of those family members though, right? Be the love that you are. Be the love that you are. Do not let anyone else's pain or suffering inform your way of being. Do not let anyone, through their behavior or their reaction, own you. You might not like it. You might not always approve of it. That's okay. You don't even have to be around it that much if you don't want to be honest with you. You don't have to even invite them over your home. But if you happen to be near them for Thanksgiving or for the holidays, and you're unwilling to tell them to leave, the game plan is be love. Because when we are practicing self-love to that degree, there is simply no way we cannot affect the world around us. You hear me? Your charge is to show up. And I'll remind you again, between now and the balance of 2015 as being that change agent, that where you are loving yourself so much, you transform the room that you walk into. And with that consciousness, you can have a moment that I had with Gloria, and I know her about 30 seconds. Because if you can get that present, you carry that into the room. Do you understand? Are you willing to accept this charge? Good. That's good. So what I'd like you to do is hold the hand of someone. Yes. Let's feel that connection. And Dave, you might be here a couple of moments. You might want to move a little closer so you're not strained. There you go. There you go. Perfect. So breathe into that space with me, if you will, that space where all love exists. The space of the omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient one. Breathe, knowing that the breath of life is the breath of God. Your breath and my breath is the breath of the individuals that were in that obscene experience Friday night in Paris. But that breath is also the breath of those who perpetrated that experience. There goes a prayer call. So we feel that breath moving through our body temple. And I'm telling you now that that breath is a gift of life. It is God showing up. Because you don't have to think about that breath. I don't have to think about this breath. You do not wake up and think, oh, I have to breathe now. You wake up and you move into life itself. And when you focus your attention and your gratitude on that breath, you're practicing self-love, not self-admiration. Not, oh dear, I look good today, but the love of the self with the capital S that is who you are. the self of God that is you, that is me, that is our family, our community, that is our spiritual family. The self that is God, that lives and breathes in every human on this earth, in every living, breathing being. Feel the sweetness of this breath that is generous and infinite in its nature. Feel that it has an element of love within it. And as we take time to slow down and get still, we allow this breath, which is the light and love of God, to be present at a cellular level everywhere within our body temple. It's beautiful. It's holy. It's sacred. It is you. It is me. So today we have each been charged with the task to be the element of love everywhere present all the time. It is beautiful. So whether you're sitting here in the sanctuary or listening to this podcast, every one of us connected chooses to be the presence of love. And I declare that anything within the subconscious mind that could stand in the way, any wounds, any stories, any upset, any resentment that has been taking residence there is lovingly cast out and released. And what replaces it is the full measure of God's love. That God penetrates and permeates every cell of our body temple, lifting it to the highest health always. So from this place, we practice not just self-love, but self-care. We make decisions to care for ourselves in ways that we never have. By the fuel given to our body, by the rest that we give our body. By accepting help and kindness, by being a flow of kindness. This is who we are. This is our task, our charge. This is the very DNA of our bodies. We were meant to be alive and generous. Let us feel it now. For this incredible moment, I am so grateful. So incredibly grateful. I surrender this loving word to law as I allow it to be so. And so